High vibrations, high energy, high frequencies. We're about to expand our frequencies. Hello, thank you for tuning in. I wanted to just come and share something that touched my heart. I am on the Trailway in Clarksville, Tennessee, and I just walked 10 miles today. Um, Something told me to deviate from my regular routine. Um, and I'm so glad that I listened to that intuition within me. I was able to do something that I have not ever been able to do before. And that is to go up this steep climb, steep cliff, this steep like hill. I would say a cliff, but it's not a cliff because it didn't lead to nowhere, right? But just like this mountainous area of the trail. And I know that before it was like so difficult for me to even imagine getting to the top of this peak. It seemed like it was something that was insurmountable to me, that was impossible for me. I know that some of you don't know my journey, but I've had this procedure done in 2017 called a decompressive lumbar lumpectomy, which ended up taking out a portion of bone in my spine. So I have like three areas of my spine where there is half of the outer portion of my spinal bones missing, because I have been in a few car accidents and a few accidents, which ended up messing up my spine and having my joints and vertebrae press on the nerves in my body, and I could not walk most of 2017 without being in a great amount of pain. So this operation was like 50-50, right? Like I really am not supposed to be able to walk according to like what my surgeon has said, but I was in such pain that it felt like it was the only option for me to pursue that avenue of doing that surgery. And it ended up going into a second surgery because I had three areas where there was a opening, things that had gotten nicked, and I was leaking cerebral spinal fluid into that area or to those three areas. So that means like brain fluid. I had that leaking out into the areas that were nicked by this operation, and it caused me to have to go do a second emergency operation about like 3 or 4 days after the initial operation. And I ended up being in the hospital for about a week. And the process of walking again was very painful. The whole situation was very painful. What I think made the whole situation worse for me is that I was on morphine and on, oh gosh, what was that other medication? I want to say hydrocodone, but I think it was a little something stronger than that. And those medications really had me to the point that I could not even think. I was not cognizant. I was not able to be active in my life or in the life of my children. And it was a very sad time for me. It was a very depressing time for me because I like to always be in control of my mental faculties, and I was not able to at that time. So um, I was resolved to one, be able to walk, two, to be able to walk without having to take these narcotics that were prescribed for me, and to change my life and to do something great for myself because I was tired of always being sick and tired. Um, so, as a form of therapy that I did for myself, I started coming out to the Greenway with my daughter. And at first, I couldn't really walk even like a quarter of a mile, but we kept coming out, and every time that we kept coming out, we would do better, we would do better, and walk further, so that quarter of a mile became nothing to me. I was able to do that. So then I was able to walk a quarter of a mile, then I was able to walk half a mile, then I was able to walk three-fourths of a mile, then a mile, and then, it increased as I kept working on it. During that time, I also came up with an oil to help me, something that I could put on topically to help me. So it was an oil that is infused with a massive amount of herbs that reduce inflammation, that reduce nerve pain, that reduce, the arthritic pain that was coming with it, the nerve pain that was coming with it, because I was also diagnosed with like fibromyalgia in 2009. Yeah, 2009. I was in the hospital for about a month. I could not walk again, and I had great pain. So, it was not a great point in my life, those two periods of time where I was going through all of this nerve pain, all of this joint pain, this inflammation, and just a dis-ease altogether. So I've always been into herbalism. I believe that there is a plant to cure every ailment here on the earth, that is provided for us. We just have to be knowledgeable and be willing to accept the fact that it's going to take some study, it's going to take some knowledge, it's going to take some determination to go ahead and have these things work for you. So I was able to come up with an oil. I call it my relief oil. So I'm not saying that it takes away or eliminates pain or inflammation and swelling and nerve damage and nerve pain. But what it did for me was make it possible for me to find a great amount of relief without having to take narcotics. So after about a month of being under narcotics, I weaned myself off. I changed my diet. I started all vegan diet, and I actually did a fasting where I didn't eat anything, for a few days. I just drank a lot of water to clear my body out from all of the narcotics that were in there, all of the anesthesia that was still left over in my body, because it was wreaking havoc on my life. It was wreaking havoc for me mentally, emotionally, physically, and definitely spiritually. I felt like I could not connect to myself. I could not connect to myself. I felt out of sorts. So, that was a blessing for me to do that. So, like, I see that my trials end up being something that helps me to triumph in my life. And that brings me back to the whole reason for me doing this video, right? Which is, we sometimes feel like there are things that are impossible for us to overcome. And it takes a mindset that says that there's nothing that is impossible for you, that there's nothing that you cannot do once you put the will and the effort and your mind towards it, right? Like, I was determined to walk again. So not only can I walk, there's days that I come out here and I do 8 miles, from point A to point B and then back again. Today I was able to do 10 miles and go to some new heights that I have never seen. So I was able to scale up that mountainous peak. And when I got up to the top of it, it was just so breathtaking. It was like a trail that was on the top of like the mountain. Like, oh my God, there's a family of deers crossing the pathway like right now. Like, God is so beautiful. The earth is so beautiful. The things that I see, I got up to that mountainous peak and it was just gorgeous. It was so breathtaking. I was like, oh my God, I want to take a video of this. But I understand that there's some things that the universe, source, God, goddess, whatever you want to call your higher power, I refer to it as like the Omnicreator. Like that's what I think of God as, the Omnicreator. So I'm going to start speaking that more because I think that other people can also relate to that idea of this magnificent creator. Oh my God. Okay, so that's dear number 4. That is absolutely beautiful. I'm not gonna switch the camera around again. Some things I think you're meant to see when you prevail and go through obstacles and come out, to see that you are not on this earth just to survive. You are on this earth. I don't know what's going on with this camera, but you're on this earth to thrive, right? I'm a thriver. I'm not a survivor. I am a thriver. I don't feel like there's anything that comes against me that I cannot surpass, that I cannot surmount. That, I believe that the divinity within me, the God and goddess within me, makes it possible for me to be victorious in all things, for me to be a thriver in my life. Um, when I got up to this peak and I saw how beautiful the plane looked, how wonderful it looked, the slope of the landscape, it was just breathtaking to me. Like it made me cry, like it made me tear up just to think of, wow, if I would have kept imposing that limitation upon myself and say, I can't make it up that hill. I can't make it up. It's too steep. The peak is just too high. It's just too, putting that limitation upon myself. I would have not seen the beauty I've just seen. I saw 2 eagles flying above me, and I was just like, wow, thinking about how beautiful life is and the duality of things and how everything changes in your life when you decide to change your mindset, when you decide to acknowledge your spirituality, acknowledge the divinity within you, the God and Goddess self of you, to see that you are not limited, you are unlimited, you are potential. You have this kinetic energy that connects you to all things. It's just beautiful. Like walking this trail, there's the river flows by here, and there's like little creeks that partition off. And I was sitting by the water, like over the bridge. There's a small bridge that's also on this trail, or the portion of the trail that I'm walking. And I'm just listening to like this babbling brook, and it's so beautiful. It sounds so beautiful, so calming. It just reminded me to go with the flow, to just be grateful for things, to not keep trying to fight things, to be able to let things, leave things off where they need to be left off at, and to always continue moving forward, because I don't know where it is that I'm supposed to end up in my life. Like I have little glimpse of how prosperous I'm supposed to be, how influential I'm supposed to be, how helpful I'm supposed to be. And in my heart, it warms me because I know that I'm supposed to be of service, of service to myself first, because in being of service to myself, I can be of service to others, because I know from my own example of how to do that, and how to do that in a way that is helpful and beneficial towards myself, towards my family, towards my children, towards my community, towards those who I'm meant to cross path with, those who I'm meant to build relationships with, those who are supposed to be part of my soul family. I feel like that is my life purpose and soul mission, to have other people get in touch with their spirituality and see how tapping into their divinity and connecting with the Omnicreator will further them in their life more than they ever thought. They will be and do things and see things and go places that they never thought for themselves in their limited thinking. As a human, the things that we limit ourselves to, that is not real. That is a false concept. That's a false perception. It's not what it is that we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be tapping into our potential. We're supposed to be unlimited. So the word itself says, I'm possible, right? I'm possible. I believe that in all things, through the divinity within us, when we connect there, when we know that we have an inheritance, when we know that we have a birthright of love and peace and joy, happiness, great health, wealth, riches, abundance and prosperity, success in all avenues of our life, for us to have balance in all things. That once we reach that state and we are operating in that state on a continual basis, we'll see how much life unfolds for us, how much joy we're able to receive on a daily basis, how much happiness and that state of constant satisfaction that we'll be in. That's where I feel like my life is taking me now. And that's a feeling that I want to share with other people. Like, I'm really at a place where I'm happy in my life, where I could say that I love myself. And since I love myself and I have an unconditional love for me, like, I love my flaws, I love my imperfections because they make me perfect, as a person. That is my perfection, my flaws, my goods, my bads, the in between, the duality of me. I want other people to feel this feeling. I want you to know, that that's what the universe would love for us to do. Life's purpose, life's mission, life's soul mission is to create more life and to do so abundantly. Like, there's so many trees here, there's so many plants, there's so much grass, there's so much here, right? Like on this trail. And it just emphasizes to me the point that we're supposed to be abundant, that we are supposed to keep procreating and be the creator and co-creator of our life, to tap into the divinity within us, to tap into the spirit realm of the Omnicreator, so that way we can live a life that is full of purpose, that's full of great health, that's full of riches and wealth, whether that be mental, emotional, or physical, material wealth, spiritual wealth. I mean, all of those things are supposed to be added on to us, and it's our birthright. It is your birthright. It is my birthright, and I know that what is mine is for me, and I'm coming for what is for me. Are you interested in coming what's for you? I think that you are. I don't think that you're seeing this video by chance. I don't believe in coincidences. I do believe in synchronicities. I do believe in signs. I do believe in omens. I do believe that we're interconnected. We're part of the all. And as part of the all, there are certain branches that are going to lead us to our soul mission, that path that we're supposed to be on to fulfill our life purpose, to fulfill the contracts that we signed before reincarnating here in this earth or onto this earth. So, if you feel like you have a connection with whatever it is that I'm saying, if you feel like you resonate with what it is that I'm speaking about, me being a spiritualist, an eclectic spiritualist, meaning that I have studied a lot of different religious and spiritual theory and ideology, and I have applied a lot of what I felt worked for me and have tested it out. And I do what works for me, and what doesn't work for me, I don't do it. If you would like to be able to tap into the divinity within you, the duality of your God and God itself, and to connect with the Omnicreator, I would definitely ask that you go ahead and reach out to me. My website is backtolifetarot.com, and that's the word back, BACK, the number 2, life, LIFE, tarot, TAROT.com or .com, right? And schedule an inspiration session with me or insight session with me, right? I'm going to change the name of it. I'm no longer going to call them readings because that's not exactly what it is that I do. Um, my purpose as a channeler of spirit is to bring you information and insight and inspiration as to how you can connect with the Omnicreator and the divinity within you.